This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue learning Hilchais Mezuzah, Siman Yud Aleph, and we are up to Sif Yud Beis. Says the Kitzur, Yesh Shtei Mezuzahis. A doorway, by its very definition, needs to have Shtei Mezuzahis, two doorposts. But let's say Ve'in Le Mashkaif. Let's say it has our requisite two mezuzahs. However, ein lay mashkaif. It doesn't have a mashkaif. The mashkaif is the lintel on top. El sheish like kiba kamin keshes. Rather, it has an arched way, shape of a bow. Or if you look at mezuzahs ein lay, or even doesn't have doorposts, el sheikiba miskels min haaretz. You have a complete curve from the floor all the way up, and the curve itself forms the two doorposts. If within the arch there is a 10x4 opening within, then chayiv, you have to put up a mezuzah. That's din number one of today. Din number two in a store, that have one doorpost from the floor all the way to the lintel mezuzah, and one doorpost that does not reach to the doorway rack. Instead, the wall is indented, and Amar more kozeh. As you see the beautiful picture over here, that you have a doorway that on one side goes all the way to the lintel, but the other side does not. It does not reach all the way up. So what is the din in such a case? Says the Kitzur, Mamzushi Kavada Mashkaf. If the side that reaches up until the Mashkaf to the lintel, he mezuzah mimina kanisa. If that side is the right entrance, but if the mezuzah, but if the small side, which does not reach all the way up to the lintels on the right side, then what does it depend upon? If it's the size of a doorway, which is what? But then you put a mezuzah there, then you put it in the indented area. So we're seeing over here, firstly, the minimum size of a doorway is 10 tefachim. Secondly, we see that if it doesn't reach all the way up, it's ta'oli. If it's 10 tefachim tall, you put it on it. If it's not 10 tefachim tall, then you put it on the indented area. So, yesh aimrim, da'afilu ein delasais lepesach, even if it does not have doors. Now listen to that line. Yesh aimrim, this is the third din in this sif. The first din, each din was unrelated. The third din says the Kitzur. First one was a kippah, that it was arched. The second one was indented. And the third one, what if you have a doorway without a door? So common in our society. Chayiv mezuzah v'yesharmim timidim dafkadelas. It's a famous machlekes how we learn out al mezuzahs beisecha v'sharecha. As note 33 points out that the Rambam says it needs to have a door. Others say not. Lachein. So what's the halacha? Lo yikvas mezuzah. Do not put up the mezuzah ad sheyet lamikardim zadelas till you put up the door first. You should not first put up the mezuzah and then put up the door. Why? Sif vav. But we will also point out that, actually, I think this Yesharim is its own sif. I think it just got messed up in the formatting over here. We'll point out that this is also the reason why, and that's what the end of note 33, such a critical note, quotes the Shach, that the Shach says, let's say there's no door. The Kitzur is talking about that there's going to be a door. Let's say there is no door. Then the halacha is, says the Shach, you do not make a bracha on a doorway without a door. We continue with Sivyo Dalid by Yeshenas Ladira Bikvios, a house that you don't actually live in constantly, Potter. Someone on Yontav asked, hey, why don't you put up a mezuzah on your sukkah? The answer is that it's not made to live in permanently. The very nature of a sukkah is that it's not permanent. And therefore, you are potter from the mezuzah. Store in the shukah, store that is built for market day, for the duration of the fair. I said, and you disassemble it and shouldn't believe shem tashvish, or it's left there and you don't use it. Peturin, if you always use it, mezuzah. Similarly, we would say different conventions, different parties, they build actual doorways. And maybe one would say, wait, where's the mezuzah? The answer is, if it's just built for a short amount of time, there's no obligation for mezuzah. Achsadra pavilion sheshel shalosh mechitzas with 3 walls, with tikal gabeim with the roof on top of it. Uprutza beravias, the fourth side is fully open. Avol b'isheisha shtebet simim, even though there are 2 doorposts on the ends of the fourth side. Kemai tzuras pesach, and the like a door. The doorposts were not made to serve those posts at the edge of the fourth wall were not made as doorposts. Rather, only to serve as support for the roof. You're already seeing over here a very important rule that even though sometimes you might actually have a proper doorpost and a lintel, but if it's not there for the purpose of being a doorpost, it's just there to support something else, you do not have to put up a mezuzah. If there's a wall on the fourth side of even if it's lower, lots of windows, still chayaves, you'd be obligated in mezuzah. We continue. A small house next to the courtyard, a watchman's house. By the watchman sits there and a balcony. You go up to an attic. Vagina, a garden, vadir, or a pen for animals. All these areas, if there is a door post into it, peturin mezuzah, your potter from his. Why are all these areas potter from mezuzah? They're not made for dira, which this is teaching us the aleph base of the obligation for mezuzah is not just a doorpost, not just a doorway. It has to be created for a dira. It has to be a place that is used to live in. If there's a house that's chayv mezuzah, that's open to one of these areas, but don't make a mistake. If you have a house and then you have a doorway opening into it, even if that doorway may not serve a proper dira function, but because it's opening into the house, you have a little antechamber into your house, you have to put a mezuzah. Even the doorway that goes into Rishus HaRabim. Therefore, the Kitzur spells out what we just said. Sha'ari Chatziros, courtyards, actually not what we just said. Sha'ar Mevu'ais, or out gates of streets, V'shar Medina Sayarais, provinces and cities, Kulam Chayavim Mezuzah. Why? Chiddush, why? You don't live in these gates. Because the houses are open into this area. Even if you have 10 houses, each one open to the next. Even if the 9 outer ones are potter. They're all chayiv. It's piggybacks. So once you have one central chayiv, every doorway opening into it, you have to put a mezuzah, a gate that opens in the garden to the courtyard. Some say it's actually obligated. And therefore the classical klal and hilchos mezuzah, when we have a machlekes, we put up the mezuzah without a bracha. We continue with Sif Yud Zayin Beis HaMerchatz, a bathhouse, Uburski, a tannery, Beis HaTfilah, place of a mikvah, Peturim. Why? These aren't places of kavod, these aren't dignified usages. Aval, Rafes Bakel, a cattle barn, Vachedesh, a Meganlabo, Eifais, you raise the chickens, we said 7 of 8-inch straw and wood. Va'oitzer shal yaino shal sham ashkin, v'yisham shir beis chayavim. A chiddush. If they have the requisite tithe, you're chayiv. V'yesh paitim, some say you're potter. We can explain very simply, how could this be more of a chiyuv where the animals live than the place, the bathhouse? And the answer is, because it's serving me a function, that my animals live there. And that is a kovadik, that is a dignified usage for me. It could be that for the animals not, but for me, that I put my animals there, that I use it as storage. Therefore, that's the tzad that is chiyuv. Others say it's potter, and of course, again, would be without a bracha. Places that children are often or places that kids wash themselves, or the kids urinate there. Cover the mezuzah, very important. You have a mezuzah in a child's room that there's going to be an accident and whatnot. The mezuzah should not be exposed, but it should be covered. Temporary usage, if it's a bathroom, or it's an area that's used for the sewage water, it's not enough that the kitzur, and you would not put up a mezuzah in such an area. So of course, we only put up mezuzahs in areas that are not always degrading, and in areas that at times, like a child's room and whatnot, you would put up a cover. Bayis, a house, in which a child lives there, potter is potter from mezuzah. An interesting chiddush teaches the Kitzur, Bayis, in which goyim live, Potter, you don't put up a mezuzah because we're afraid that, as the quote in note 52 from the Shach, it can lead to danger or desecration. So one has to know. But again, if someone may be in a public area or whatnot, you have to be careful for mezuzah where there are goyim. And finally, Sif 20, Marti, a seller, Shem mezuzahs in Mabesach, Sheichlim, Ba'aretz, whose doorposts and entrance lie in the ground. You know, you have the opening and you pull it up. Potter, you do not put up mezuzah. Why? There's an entrance way in. So nikri mezuzah elik shamedis, a mezuzah by its very definition is only something that is standing up, and we'll pick it up from Sif Chavala for the next year. B'siyata dishmaya.